brown cubes of chuck roast stewed with red wine, beef broth, and an assortment of flavorful vegetables. This is the recipe you've been waiting for. Let's make the absolute best hearty beef vegetable stew. There are 5 key moments in this recipe. I'm here to help you make a beef stew that is flavorful. The beef is tender. It really is something, but just make sure you watch to the very end of this video because I do something to this recipe that sets it apart from all others. Wait till you see. Key step number 1, a little bit of prep work. We're gonna get the veggies ready for our mirepoix. 2 celery stalks roughly chopped, about 1 cup. 2 small carrots peeled and roughly chopped, also 1 cup. And then 1 medium white onion roughly chopped, about 2 cups. I just call this trio of veggies a mirepoix. If this term is unfamiliar to you, just head to weekendатthecottage.com. I'll list a link in the story attached to this recipe, help provide you with all the details. Next, we're also going to prep the meat for the stew. I'm starting with pancetta, which gives our stew a bit of bacon flavoring plus some smoky notes. I'm going to cut up a chunk into cubes. It's about ½ cup of pancetta for the recipe. Our beef is a 4-pound chuck roast. I'm cutting it into 1½ inch cubes. I'm also cutting away and discarding any fat. During the testing of this recipe, we found that getting the beef dry helped keep the Dutch oven dry during the searing process. We placed the beef onto a paper towel lined baking sheet, tamped the pieces dry, then season them with kosher salt and black pepper, making sure to turn the cubes so every little bit is properly seasoned. Let the beef rest for 15 minutes before continuing. Also, good time, turn your oven on to 325. Our rack is in the bottom 3rd position. So far so good. Now on to step 2, time to start the stew by cooking the meat. We place a thick bottom Dutch oven onto stove top. Heat goes to moderate. When the pan comes to temperature, we're adding 1 tablespoon of vegetable oil, then the pancetta. Stir the pancetta as it cooks until browned, about 5 minutes. Use a slotted spoon to transfer to a paper towel lined bowl or plate. Now we're gonna sear the beef. Remember, this isn't meant to be a quick recipe. We're gonna take our time and just go slow. Another tip, when you're adding your beef into the Dutch oven, don't overcrowd the pot, just do little bits at a time. Increase your temperature to moderate high heat. We're gonna add 1/3 of the beef. Make sure to leave that space between each piece. Turn the meat with tongs as it sears, ensuring all the sides are browned. It'll take about 8 minutes per batch. Transfer the meat to a large bowl. Now we repeat the process with the rest of the beef. 3rd step, now we start building some serious flavor. Reduce the temperature of stovetop to medium. Carefully pour off all but 3 tablespoons of the fat. We're adding the onion, celery, and carrot. Stir frequently, scraping up the bottom of the pot until the vegetables are soft. It'll take about 5 minutes. Next, we add our seasoning, 1 teaspoon of dried thyme, a teaspoon of dried oregano, 2 teaspoons of chopped fresh sage, and then ½ a teaspoon of chili flakes. Stir to combine and cook for about a minute until fragrant, and then we're still not done. Let's add 3 garlic cloves finely diced and 1 can of tomato paste. Stir everything together. We're gonna cook for 1 minute more. Another moment in the flavor building portion of this program is to deglaze the pot. Increase the temperature to medium high and add 1 cup of dry red wine, 3 cups of beef stock, and 1 cup of water. Stir everything together, bring to a boil, and cook for 5 minutes. Our final moment here, we're adding the pancetta. Add the seared beef along with the juices. Stir thoroughly to combine. We're gonna cover and transfer to the oven to cook for 1 hour and 30 minutes. While the stew is cooking slowly, we're gonna prepare some additional vegetables. 2 cups of mini red potatoes, I'm quartering them. I have a cup of cremini mushrooms. I've cleaned them and now quarter them. Maybe 2 or 3 small carrots peeled, split down the middle, then cut on an angle into chunks. I also love adding rutabaga, where I trim away the waxy coating, then cut half a rutabaga into bite-sized cubes. After 1 hour and 30 minutes, time for our 4th key step, where we carefully remove the pot from the oven and use oven mitts to remove the lid. We're gonna add those vegetables and stir them in gently to combine. Carefully replace the lid on the pot and return the stew to the oven to cook for an additional hour. Okay, now our last step, and it might seem odd, but I'm here to tell you, we're not gonna eat this the day we make it. No way. Instead, this is important for step 5, watch this. Cool the stew to room temperature with the lid askew, then refrigerate it overnight. Next day, you can skim off all those greasy fat solids. Then we're going to reheat the stew and get ready to serve. If you happen to have a gorgeous loaf of homemade sourdough made by a friend, now's the time to slice it up. When the stew is nice and hot, bonus round, my game changer. We add, wait for it, 2 tablespoons of prepared horseradish, 1 ounce of aged balsamic vinegar, and then a 1/4 cup of chopped fresh parsley. Give everything a big stir. Then you're serving it into large soup plates with a fork, a knife, and a spoon at the ready. That sourdough gets a swipe of butter. Make sure to open a beautiful bottle of red. Over to you. The full recipe is up at weekendatthecottage.com for you to reference. Make sure to tell all your friends this video is up right now on our YouTube channel so they can make this delicious stew too. And then finally, when you make this gorgeous vein, take a picture of it and post it using hashtag weekendatthecottage on your favorite socials like Pinterest, the Gram, and Facebook. It really is the absolute best hearty beef vegetable stew. You'll see when you make it, and you'll know after your first bite. Enjoy.